This video is on how to field strip and clean the Beretta 92 and 96. This model happens to be the 96, but it functions the same as the 92. This is not a complete disassembly video. I'm only going to show you how to break it down as far as you need to go for basic maintenance and cleaning. To get started, you'll need a few things. CLP, a bronze bore brush in the appropriate caliber, 9mm if you're cleaning the 92 and 40 Smith & Wesson if you're cleaning the model 96. A brass jag. I definitely recommend a bore snake. I'll show you why later. Angled cotton swabs. A nylon brush. A cleaning rod with a handle that spins freely. And microfiber rags specific for gun cleaning and cleaning patches. And links to all of these items are posted on my website. I'll leave that in the show notes below. Right now my website links are pointed towards Amazon because that's the cheapest I could find these items, but if that changes in the future, I'll make sure to update my website. I always start out with the clear and safe weapon, but of course I'm going to double check. To do that, press the magazine release button here. Keep your finger off the trigger. Keep it pointed in a safe direction. Work the slide a few times. If anything's inside the chamber, it's going to eject at this point. Push the slide all the way back. As you're doing that, push up on the slide stop lever. When you let the slide go, it's going to catch on the slide stop. Now we're going to make sure there's not a round stuck in the chamber, so we are 100% clear. Press this button on the right hand side. Turn it over. As you're holding that button, rotate the takedown lever to the 6 o'clock position. Now pull the slide stop lever downward and you can pull the slide right off. Press the recoil spring from chamber in to muzzle in. Take it out. Remove the recoil spring from the guide rod. Now the barrel comes out. Now this piece here underneath the barrel is a locking block. I'm just going to leave it on. I don't have any problems cleaning around it with a nylon brush, but if you do take it out, sometimes it's kind of a pain to get back in, so I'm just going to leave it in for now. So this is as far as you need to go for basic field strip and clean. You have the slide, the barrel, the frame, the recoil spring and guide rod assembly, and the magazine. You don't have to clean these parts in any particular order. Today I'm going to start with the barrel. Be sure that you're using a bronze or nylon bore brush. You don't want to use anything abrasive. So attach the bore brush to the cleaning rod. Add CLP to the brush. I'm only going to push it in one way, from chamber in to muzzle in. So I'm going to push it in. Once the bore brush comes out of the muzzle, I'm going to remove it and repeat the process because it doesn't make any sense at all to push the dirt out and pull it right back in. Kind of like sweeping the floor. You don't sweep back and forth because you'll just spread dust everywhere. You sweep in one general direction, into a dustpan or out the door. Do this 2 or 3 times and you should be good. Now attach the jag to the cleaning rod. Add CLP to the cleaning patch. Wrap the patch over the jag and push it through the barrel. Just like the bore brush, we're going to push it through in one direction only, from chamber in to muzzle in. You'll see that the first patch comes out dirty. Just keep pushing clean patches through until they start to come out clean. Now I'm going to clean the exterior of the barrel, add CLP to the nylon brush, and start scrubbing all the outer surfaces. Give special attention to the feed ramp, make sure that's really clean. Now wipe off any excess CLP. Now that the barrel's clean, I'm going to add a little bit of CLP to the contact points on the locking block, and also these small rails towards the chamber end. Now I'm going to add a few drops of CLP to the outside surfaces and use a cleaning rag to smooth it over. The feed ramp should look spotless, just like that. The last thing I'm going to do for the barrel is run a bore snake through it. Make sure you're using the appropriate caliber. If you're doing the model 92, it should say 9 or 38 on the brass weight. In this case, it's going to say 40 for a 40 Smith & Wesson, which is the caliber of the Beretta 96. Drop the weighted end through the chamber end first. Pull it out through the muzzle. Run the bore snake through a couple of times and you should be good. And this is why I recommend a bore snake every time. It's spotless. There's not even a speck of dust inside. That's even better than it came from the factory. This bore is so clean that it actually looks sterile. Now add CLP to the nylon brush and scrub the guide rod. Now scrub in between the coils of the recoil spring. Roll the spring over the rag to wipe off the excess CLP. Now insert the guide rod back into the recoil spring. Tight end first. If it doesn't have a tight end, they're both equal, then it doesn't really matter. Now let's clean the slide. Add CLP to the nylon brush and start scrubbing all surfaces inside and out. Give special attention to the rails. You want to make sure those are really clean. This is the breech face. You want to make sure you don't leak CLP down into that little hole that the firing pin comes out of. Now I'm going to add CLP to one of these angled cotton swabs and go through it in fine detail. And just like I gave special attention to the rails with the nylon brush, I'm going to do the same thing with the cotton swab. Keep running clean cotton swabs through the rails until they start to come out clean. Now that the rails are clean, I'm going to continue cleaning all surfaces that I can get to with this angled cotton swab. Wipe off any excess CLP. Now I'm going to add a light coat of CLP to all metal surfaces, which is the whole slide, and a medium coat inside the rails, as well as any other surfaces that show signs of metal on metal wear. And just a reminder, take it easy around the breech face. You don't want to leak CLP down into that firing pin channel. Now start on the frame, add CLP to the nylon brush, and start scrubbing all surfaces inside and out. And yes, I am going to clean these G10 grips with CLP. Don't worry, we're not going to leave it slippery or wet. Feel free to leave this part dirty if you don't mind getting your hands full of carbon, fouling, and lead every time you pick up your gun. Clean inside the magazine well, but be careful towards the top. There's some intricate parts up here. Now that I've loosened up all the carbon with the brush, I'm going to go through the cotton swab in fine detail. Now use the microfiber rag to wipe off any excess CLP. The best way to get the excess CLP off of the grips is wrap a rag around it and squeeze. Now these grips are totally dry and they're not the least bit slippery. To remove any excess CLP for the magazine well, just wrap the rag around the nylon brush and get inside the magazine well with that. Start on the bottom, then go to the top. Just remember to be careful around the top because of the intricate parts there. I'm going to take a clean cotton swab, add CLP, and add a medium coat of CLP to anything that shows signs of metal on metal wear and inside the rails, and a light coat of CLP to all metal surfaces. Now we'll clean the magazine. Unless you dropped in dirt, mud, or sand or something like that, you don't really need to completely disassemble it every time you clean it. Today we're just going to give it a basic clean and wipe down. If you do need to break it down, I really don't think you need a video to show you how to do it. All you do is press this button at the bottom of the base plate, slide the base plate off, the spring and follower will come out, clean everything with CLP, wipe it down dry. You don't need to leave it wet because you don't want anything attracting dust inside the magazine sleeve. Put it back together the same way it came out. That's about it. So now I'm just going to use a little bit of CLP on the nylon brush and start scrubbing, but I'm going to be careful not to leak CLP down into the follower or these witness holes right here. Now I'm going to wipe it down with the rag. And I'm just going to make sure it's totally dry. I don't want any excess COP on this magazine. Now it's time to put it back together. Insert the barrel. Make sure you got the correct lockup right here. Insert the guide rod recoil spring assembly. Spring muzzle in first, compress it, and this flat part here goes in the locking block. And it should look just like this when it's properly installed. Make sure the takedown lever is still pointed in the 6 o'clock position. When I was cleaning, this one moved back up to the 3 o'clock position, so I'm just going to move it back so that the slide will go on. Line up the rails with the rail channels. Push it all the way back, then push up on the slide stop lever. Move the takedown lever back to the 3 o'clock position. Press the slide stop down and let the slide go home. Function check. Make sure the safety's off. Rack the slide. Pull the trigger, the hammer's going to drop, but don't let it go. Keep holding the trigger, rack the slide again, let the trigger reset. If you hear a click, you're good. Pull the trigger again, the hammer should drop. Let's make sure it locks back on an empty mag. So insert a mag, pull the slide back, and it should lock back on its own. If it does, everything's good. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, give me a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.